Hey, what's up, Trash Talkers? What's up, Gruntworks Nation? Hey, welcome to VTT's second Memorial Day special, to where we get on here and we chat. So when we did it last year, we didn't know really what to do. So we kind of paid a lot more tribute to Gold Star mothers, and had some of the moms that we know watching, and talked about some of our battle buddies. And it was really good for us. It was good for our own therapy, and I think the moms really did appreciate it when we talked about their sons, our battle buddies that were lost. And before we get started, I just wanted to explain again to everybody watching is if you want to come on and honor a battle buddy or sister today, all right, then private message VTT. All right, tell us who you want to honor. All right, if you got a picture, I don't know if Chris will be able to get it up, but we'll try. All right, so send it to us, and then we'll bring you on the show, and then you can just talk about it. And again, that's part of our main mission is to become the biggest veteran community that can give resources at any time to anyone, right? And so if we can help, then we will. It's that simple. And the more people we get, the better. And it's Memorial Day. It's a tough day for us war fighters. It's a tough, Memorial Day's tomorrow. So we're doing it today so that, we can reflect tomorrow in our own ways, but, we'll do that tonight. So some of the guys will share some stories and show you how we do it. And then if you want to come on and talk about a battle buddy or sister, just come on and talk about it. We're trying to defeat that stigma, because part of the, everybody thinks they have their own reason for soldier suicide or veteran suicide, but there's lots of things. All right. And one of the stigmas is you're not manly enough if you talk about it. All right. If you show a little bit of emotion that, you still think about, your battle buddies. So it's like, what's wrong with that? Right. You're supposed to think about them. And I know I'm just going to share a quick story that I did very well in poker in my first deployment. Right. So I know these guys know that I did very well.
You had some wads. You had some wads on you.
Yeah, to the point of where when travel pay came, I was switching out 20s for hundreds. Right. So like I was like, what do you mean you have $4,000 in 20s? I'm like, yeah, I do. So can I get hundreds so I can send it home? But anyways, I had this giant wad of cash. I think it got up to about $7,000. And, there was like three guys. I think Joe was one of them that knew where I kept that cash. So I was like, hey, man, in the event that, I get smoked tomorrow, right, the cash is right there. All right. So take it. And when you go back, I want you to spend every fucking dollar of it in one night. Right. So it's like, I would hope that my battle buddies, if I was to fall, would celebrate how they knew me, why, like what made them close with me. I'd hope they'd celebrate that. Patton said something like that. He's like, we don't mourn them. We celebrate that those men lived. Right. And that's what we're doing here. And before people start, don't get all triggered on the thread tonight. Okay. Don't get all triggered and say like, I can't stand people that tell me happy Memorial Day. All right. Again, most of those people have no fucking idea what they're talking about. So the last thing you want to do is alienate them and not educate them. All right. So just say thanks, man. Just say thanks and cheers them. All right. Cheers. And then if you know them, just be like, but by the way, this is what we're doing, but thanks for your support. Right? Like, don't be a steward of the veteran community. We've talked about it 100 times. Is every time you go out and act like a jackass, that makes me a white extremist. All right. So it's like, I mean, come on, man. I'm like, so again,
you're representing all of us. You're representing
all of us. Yep. And you can't claim the veteran card if you want to be an individual. Okay. You claim the veteran card, it's because we have the brotherhood, we have the sisterhood. That's what the page is about. But with us right now, we got the face man Dave. All right, we got Trigger Joe is with us. Send it 7 Bill, and then look who that is, Sergeant G. The Stone
What's
Vet.
up, brother?
Hey, fanning it out. He's fanning it out.
Hey, you're
Fan it
not.
out. You gotta get.
It looks
They just
foggy as
jealous.
hell.
Y'all just
All right,
jealous.
but
as
I got to
hell.
stop the introductions because, hey, Evan Williams says, hell yeah, I see the cross cannons in the background. Okay. First of all, Evan,
Evan. God
no,
damn it.
I will.
Yeah,
we will
right. Correct.
fucking-
Incorrect.
We will,
That's an
we will
incorrect answer.
block you. Okay. We will block you from the page because
That just
here's
means
why.
Evan is winning. That means
No.
Evan is a winner.
Here's why. Don't
We
let
honor
Bill lie to
Evan.
you. Bill's a
What are
fister.
you doing?
Okay.
Go get
Bill-
your diaper.
Bill was not even accepted in the field artillery community to what 2013. All right, so they kind of just passed him off into the infantry like the redheaded stepchild of the artillery, right?
And
But we
Sergeant
love you
G's
on
over
the-
there handing out diapers. I
Yeah,
just
hey,
heard that.
Sergeant G, you gotta go landscape. All right, so anybody, those of you who don't know Sergeant G, all right, he's the stoned vet. All right, so he comes on Wednesdays and he has his own podcast platform, the Stone Vet USMC. All right, go like it.
Literally,
And then-
figuratively, professional.
And then we
He's
brought
the
this
stone
we brought this other jarhead on last week. And I don't know if he's really good at pulling our chain or all that kind of stuff, but we kind of liked him.
He seems
So,
kind of cool. He seems
yeah,
kind of
see-
cool. Yeah, just a
So-
little. Marine, but
My voice
Yeah.
is
Yeah. So we decided to make him part of the team and the family. Well, everybody's part of the family, but make him part of the talent team. All right. And where he's going to get out there, he's going to do a podcast for us. And we're going to release it on Thursdays. What are we going to call it?
it's, I believe, Mammoth Power Thursdays, behind the beard.
Behind the Mammoth Power Thursdays. Behind
and
the
all he
beard.
asked for was crayons. That's all
Yeah,
he had to do.
all I
Weekly.
got to pay him is in crayons.
Yeah,
So if we
that's
get
it.
him,
it.
We said Shazam.
yeah.
We said
Nobody.
absolutely. We got you, brother.
Hey, we do the best we can with the little that we get. You guys just don't understand that.
Yeah, but hey guys, before I start, my little memorial today. Hey, cheers to all of you. And again, this is what we do. We're veterans. It may be on Zoom. All right, we're shared live on all Gruntworks and Veteran Trash Talk. And so, man, raise a glass with us. Let's talk some shop. Let's talk about some of our battle buddies. It's it's not fun to do, but again, I have no problem talking about it. I don't have no problem talking about who I'm about to talk to. But last year, and I've done it once on the show, I talked about Dutch Staff Sergeant Estes. So he saved my life in 2006. He didn't make it back from that deployment, and we've talked about him before. And but he drinks Rolling Rock. That's what he drank. So
I knew you'd have a Rolling Rock today. I knew you
when
would.
the guy saves your life.
Yeah.
I mean, you drink Rolling Rock, right? That's just what
Yep.
happens.
It's not much to ask.
Yeah, not much to ask at all. And also, I don't want to be an asshole to somebody who might memorialize him too, because somebody said Happy Memorial Day to me, right? So fucking settle down.
Triggered.
So hey, Chris, if you want to put his picture up, that would be huge. If you want to put Roberto's picture up, that would be awesome.
and yes, he is a good-looking dude.
Yeah.
I remember the Iraqi police all wanted him to come work with them for some reason, and he got teased about it forever. Because he was a pretty boy, man. He had the baby
Yeah,
face. He looked like he was
a
17.
good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Roberto Casor is from Northern California, originally from San Jose. And so I met him actually with another brother who didn't make it back from that same deployment, was Justin Rollins. My first detail was shoot shakeout. I know you Marines don't understand what that means. That's what paratroopers do. That's what the privates do when they're done jumping. They have to shake the chutes out. But I was new to the unit, so was Roberto, and they were like, "You guys go handle that. Roger that. You two work." So I met Roberto that way, and also Justin Rollins. I met him that way as well. And so I didn't hang out with Roberto much. And then when we got on the patrol base, we had about I'd say about a 2-month period where we just kind of had the same schedule, to where we crossed paths in the MWR, and which we had. Our MWR was a 3-computer fucking bunker, right? That that we could maybe get an email out if we weren't commo blackout, which we were commo blackout all the fucking time. But so we started to kind of say hi, talk to each other a little bit, and then when I went home on my R&R, our platoon, Joe and Dave, they were in Bakuba, and I got lucky enough with Lukey to get on a bird early and get out of there before you guys started your clearance mission where you guys ran out of food and water and shit. So that was, I was fucking drinking beers and watching baseball games while you guys were fucking sucking it. So I get back and Roberto is there and I'm the only one from our platoon that's on the patrol base. So I'm in the shoes and, partying it up a little bit with some of those, whatever we got going on. And Roberto comes and, we have a bunch of cocktails, the Iraqi kind, and then do what we had to do. And, ended up, becoming pretty good friends. And then it's, God, you hate to say it, and, maybe somebody can comment about it, but you hate to say it that, when it's your time, it's your time. Right. Like that's tough for an infantry guy to talk about like that, because there's probably fucking something I could have done about it. Like, there's, maybe if I was, over here or we swerved right over there or the gunner could have saw it, something. Right. But, that'll beat you up and eat you up. And I know who Joe's going to talk about that eats me up every day because, we'll get into that later when he talks about it. So Kasor was struck by an IED. And he was killed instantly. I know there's the Dropkick Murphy song where it's like when he talks about warriors, how they die, they hope that it was quick, right? And that or was it slow and obscene was a line from Dropkick Murphys, so he died a clean death. And it was and it hurt, but that was also the same night as what we call the jihad night. So those of you who don't know, we were in Samara. Well, they killed Roberto that day, and in the middle of the afternoon they killed him. And then at nighttime, we had some OPs out, and the people started merging and coming together, and the whole city was about to come after the Iraqi police and and all that kind of stuff. It was about to be nuts. But, the one thing that Al-Qaeda didn't take into effect or into consideration was that they had killed an American that day. And there's an entire company of fucking paratroopers that really, really want to do something, right? Just give them a chance. So, the whole city decided to attack that night, and they didn't win. Okay. Because of how awesome our leadership was and how fast we were able to get out and go support those that are engaging, was a good, and just trying to do with his life didn't come from a lot of money. Didn't have the greatest of upbringings, didn't have the worst of upbringings either, but he was a soldier, man, paratrooper. And like I said, he was trying to make something better with his life. And again, so I'm going to do the best I can to have a good time and do the right thing. Be loving to my daughters, hang out with my family, because that's what Roberto would do. Roberto did, and if it was 2007, we'd all be going down to Sharky's. And we'd all be having a great fucking time. Maybe stop and hit up Mickey's, and it's like that's what we do, and we'd have a blast. So again, hey, cheers to Roberto. Kasor was killed July 7th, 2007. I think about you every day, brother. And I'm glad I get to share your story and share your life on this group. So that's kind of how it goes, guys. If you're watching and you want to come on, just message us up and we'll get you on here. And now I'm going to take it over to David from Mammoth. He's going to share an awesome story of memorializing a fallen comrade that, fucking hero. Right. So over to you, Dave.
Awesome. Thanks. So I'm talking about Corporal Jason Dunham. He's the first Marine since Vietnam to win the Medal of Honor. And we had They've been having a lot of problems with the heavy insurgency out in Al-Qaim on the border of Syria. And he was out on patrol responding to some various attacks. They redirected a patrol to stop some vehicles, and this guy jumped out right away, tried to choke him and wrestle him with him, pulled out the old pineapple grenade, and Jason pulled his Kevlar off his head, smothered the grenade, and then smothered his body over the Kevlar. And the funny thing about it is he talked previously for the few weeks before on whether or not that would work. And everybody would tell him, don't fucking do it. It's not going to work. It's stupid. And he's like, between the Kevlar and my armor, should be fine. Well, guts and everything were pretty much fine. But, you know, the shrapnel goes this way, not so much this way. So this stuff wasn't really protected. So he had a lot of brain swelling. They had to remove part of his skull to relieve the pressure, maintained him enough to get him to Baghdad, got him from Baghdad to Germany, and Germany back to Walter Reed before they finally decided this is never going to get any better. But he was I don't know, kind of like out of a movie, Marine's Marine. And the guy was literally born on the Marine Corps birthday. Everybody loved him. No one had a bad thing to say about him. Just I don't know, related in Army terms, he was just the perfect kind of Marine. Perfect, you know, couldn't have asked for a better dude. And it was just, everything was selfless. And it's, you hate to see people like that go, because you think, man, that guy could have just really done some good for a long time. But instead, you know, his name gets out there and gets etched, you know, for like kind of all the wrong reasons. But just an amazing guy, and a great family. I don't know. I miss him a lot. And he was on TV about half an hour ago, because his name is on the windshield of Kurt Busch's race car for the race that's going on right now. And they showed his family, and they went back showing some of the footage from the White House from when all that part went down. And I just could not help but get emotional, and it gets me every time. They're making a documentary about him and my battalion and everything that went down at that time. And it's, I don't know, it's interesting to go back and revisit all the extreme details. I can't vouch for all of you guys, but all of the damn IEDs and various mortar attacks, et cetera, and TBI that I have, and dude, my memory is fucking shit. And there's so much that I just don't remember or can't keep track of very well, let alone from that time. So sometimes when I have situations like this, which are very important to me, it's extremely frustrating and depressing to be having a hard time remembering details. So I hate to look like maybe like a cliche vet, but I take days like this extremely serious. It's not so much a joke to me, you know, people just, oh, you know, it's the barbecue day. I get it. You know, there's a lot of oblivious people, but I take days like this seriously because, you know, like you guys as well, I don't know how many times I was positive to fucking hell that I was going to die that moment. So many of those moments. So I take these days very seriously because I'm extremely happy to have an opportunity to still live my life for all of these men that died so I could be here.
Yeah.
That's one guy that will be as close to the center of my heart as possible for every breath of my life.
Yeah. Where was he from again originally?
He's from Scio, New York.
Scio, New York. Okay.
So SCIO.
Yeah, that's truly an amazing story. And you know, like you said, it's hard to remember the details. And, you know, especially if you try to block them out, which a lot of us have done, you know, trying to cope that way. And I think unless somebody's got a different opinion, which is fine, it's not the way to do it, you know, because all you're doing is pushing it away. It ain't going nowhere. Right. Like it's always going to be there. And like you said, that fear of dying, you know, I had it from probably, I'd say, what we get there in August of 06 on my first deployment. I think I had a fear of dying.
Tyler was born August 16th. So we got there. Yeah. August.
I think I had a fear of dying from August till about maybe mid-October. Right. And then we went for another freaking 12 months and I didn't give two fucking shits. You know, it was like,
All right.
And the second deployment was worse, Nick, if you think about it. For me, it was like emotionally and just like, even though we didn't like go through anything, you know, compared to the first
the
one.
PTSD was bad on that
It was
deployment.
bad, man.
Let me ask you a
bad.
question. Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question. Do you guys ever have times where you almost wish you were still there just out of the simplicity of your life?
I think that's a very common
know what I mean?
denominator around vets where everything's so easy because that's the only thing you're worried about there is staying alive. You're not worried about the everyday life, you know,
Which is the
paying
biggest
bills,
part.
taxes, whatever it may be. You're there with your brothers and you're staying alive. That's it. So that is, in a sense, it's crazy, but it is simplistic. It's very
Right.
simple, you know.
Like how simple was
you
it to go ahead, Joe?
No, it's like Dave was saying, it does. And just like both Daves were saying, you know, there's a comfort level there that most people can't understand because, you know, it's like I told my mother when we were deploying, and of course they're scared to death. You know, never been through, you know, they never been through anything like that. So I told her, I said, Mom, look, these guys have been practicing for 2 years to go play in one game. Now we get to go play.
Yeah.
And I was ignorant to the fact that I honestly thought we were all coming home. And it's not even really something I say without being a little embarrassed. But I really, you know, just assume like we're good. You know, we're gonna bulldoze anything that gets in our way, and we'll be fine. And you know, it obviously didn't pan out that way. But you got some serious on the job training to the point where you end up getting callous to it. Like Nick said, like, all right, I'm sick of fucking worrying about whether or not I'm going to get it today. I'm just going to go do my job. Hopefully we can fucking eat some decent food tonight when we get back. But you know, the night I got hit,
Cried like a baby.
the strike glass
I
behind
shed a
my
tear.
head-
I wasn't there, and I was already shedding a tear. I was freaking out. I was in a CP when I found out my soldier got hit. Yeah.
Well, the strike glass behind my head had 5 rounds in it in this area. So like after that night, yeah, I definitely was very, very on edge for a long time. And then we had gotten into it so many times by the time it was said and done. I was like, Nick, like, man, fuck you guys. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And if I get it, I get it. Because the way I felt at that point, better men had already died. And so I was at peace with it if it was my time to go, because in my opinion, better soldiers, people who were people I looked up to, who had it just, you know, I don't want to roll into what I was, but you see one of these guys that's a fucking warrior, like Dutch. He just had a presence about him, and he was a big boy. But it was just the way he carried himself. He would have been respected if he was 5'6", but he was 6'4", you know. And you see somebody like that fall, and humbling you is not even the right definition. You're like, all right, this doesn't make any fucking sense, because you look at these guys, and I think the thing that kills you, and I'm sorry about the lawnmower in the back if you guys are catching any of that, but that's like
I hope it's your grass.
it's cut. I promise it's cut. But you see you see that happen to these guys in the thing. I think the thing that eats you up the most is it's not dignified. You don't feel like it was you, like they fucking deserve better. Like, fuck, these guys were, you know, in that moment, I'm saying it's like, and I can't give it to them because it's over. And I think that's the part that was the hardest for me, was to see guys that I knew trumped me in the soldiering business fall and think, you know, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm brand new to this. I looked up to those guys and they're gone. So like Nick says, it sounds morbid, but when it's your time, I guess it's your time, because there's no real way to make sense of it.
Yeah, and like I said, it with, you know, with infantry guys and sometimes fisters. But that's for you, Bill. But with, you know, with the infantry guys,
We love you, Bill.
it's
I got that was for me. Thanks, man.
yeah. I mean, I'm glad somebody liked the cross cannons.
Dave doesn't speak for me, but I like.
Yeah. You know, like, it doesn't
We haven't
mean
even been
so
out to
for,
dinner
so
yet, Bill.
I know that there's a lot of civilians watching too, and again, we want civilians on the show. We want them on the team, because guess if you're a veteran that's not in the military anymore, guess who you live around? Civilians, right? So if you had a neighbor that's maybe trying to understand you a little bit better, okay, you know, maybe this group can help them, you know, and be like, hey, the guy doesn't talk very much. Well, doesn't mean he doesn't like you. Maybe he's just fucking quiet, right? Like, so go ahead, Dave.
And I was gonna say, I had a conversation with a neighbor a while back, and with my grandfather. My grandfather was in World War II, and they both were talking. And one of the common questions I got was why, you know, what was so hard about doing it? You know, the deployments and such over there. And I had to explain to my grandfather, who, you know, World War II, it's 100% different. You know what I mean? These Iraqis aren't wearing Iraqi specific uniforms with Iraqi vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like the Germans and shit. Like, I can't tell this guy over here is wearing his tunic outfit, whatever, Joe Schmo, and he's wrapped up all under. I can tell any one of them is the bad guy. We've had kids shoot at us. I would not expect that. Things like that. That's, to me, that was one of the hardest part. Was it wasn't always as easy knowing who's going to try and kill me in 5 minutes versus World War I and II, etc. It's kind of easy to see who's the, you know, other guy.
Yeah, and it contributes to the PTSD where you're just extremely on edge all the time, you know, because you're, like you say, you're not facing a conventional force. You're facing everybody. So you're out there patrolling, doing whatever, and you are just watching everybody. I can't remember how many times Joe or Nick, we arrested kids with AKs, grenades. We had that one kid throw a grenade at our vehicle. So
They didn't believe that the kid threw it until they saw it on camera. They were
And
like,
they
"There's no
paid
way that kid
Townsend
could have
had
chucked
the
that
helmet
grenade.
cam on. Yeah.
They
There's
paid
no
the
way
kid
you
to
can
do
toss that. He's too little." But yeah,
And the sad thing about the
it's
kid, though, you know, he just wanted money to feed his family, so they paid him. Hey, here's a couple dollars or whatever.
You want to eat? Throw this at the next convoy you see. Oh, and by the way, if you take this grenade and don't do it, we cut your throat.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, the kid had no choice.
Yeah.
You know, listen. If it was at my house, you're fucking right. I would have done it. You know, I mean, what is he supposed to do? They're poor.
But I didn't mean to go up.
No, it's just I remember that.
That's all right.
one
Hey,
well, too.
we're bullshitting around the dumpster fire right now. So hey, David, so let's say his name again and the unit and everything like that. Let's toast him.
Hell yeah.
Corporal Jason Dunham from 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, 1st Marine Division.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Thanks for sharing, David.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, but feel free to stick around and hang out for the rest of the conversation. But again, if you guys that are watching, you want to come on and honor somebody, just come on and do it. Give it a shot. All right, give it a try. Talk about it. And like, you know, like David was saying about, you know, the World War II vets and talking about it. It's like I decided to take an opposite approach with my mental health, to where my neighbors will tell you, they're probably watching right now. I tell them fucking everything. Fucking everything.
Me too.
Everything.
Me too.
Like,
Open, open fucking book. Yep.
I'm like, you want to hear it? Like,
Yeah.
like,
Sure.
you know, all right. And now
Everybody-
instead of
You sure?
Everybody knows.
instead
that
of me
about
being the
too.
quiet veteran, they just don't talk to me because they think I'm a fucking psycho. But no, it's no, I got good neighbors and I always have. But yeah, I mean, they're
I can tell you this much: Nick's been on one movie set, and he definitely knocked some fucking eyebrows back with what he talked about in that scene. I'll just say that much. They
Yeah.
did not expect that.
I don't
coming.
think anybody is expecting what's coming out on that one, Joe. That
Oh
was,
no!
talk about
Well,
some demons. Anyway, let's not get to
You guys
them.
want-
But yeah.
Hold on.
You're right, Joe. You're right.
what's up, Dave?
Fill me in. What's going on with that?
Well, I mean, we don't want to turn this show into about us.
Yeah,
but I
it's
mean,
not about us today.
but it's we got casted in a movie shortly after starting this, and
Is that Bang Bros?
yeah, it was a gay
Yes.
porn.
There
that
it
was
is.
that was a
I
year
knew
ago.
it.
That was a year ago. Yeah.
The gay version. I've been a star at that for years. So
Listen,
Yeah,
David,
it wasn't
David,
325.
I knew I recognized it.
David,
Yeah.
don't be a dick. That was 5 years ago.
yeah.
I
That's
recognized
right.
it.
Nick
Let
was
that
part of
down.
325.
Jeez,
Nobody
family.
told me they were recording.
not this year.
Um,
5 years ago.
Yeah. But no, like again, so they didn't script our lines. They just were like, hey, tell us something that you would say in a VA setting where you were talking about therapy.
Mhm.
Right. And well, I gave it to him. And so did Joe and Dave. Like, and it's like that crew in there had there wasn't a dry eye in that fucking room. And like it was, but again, instead of getting mad at people for saying happy Memorial Day or hey, you want to come over for a barbecue or hey, you want to like yeah, go over to that fucking barbecue and have a great time. All right. And if they ask you about it, tell them. And the civilians who pay taxes, right, and who, again, remember, as a service member, they're paying taxes out of their income to be safe, right? We're the mafia's hitmen, all right? So when the money goes to the United States government, right, and they pay somebody to protect you, right, that's you, man. So it's that
You
can't
come
be
to
mad
a
at the
barbecue
civilians.
in North Carolina. It doesn't matter if they've ever met you in your life. You sit down and go, "Hey, you guys want to hear about shooting terrorists?" You won't even be fixing your own plates. All right, you'll just sit there and be served all day long.
No. But again, these civilians, they, if they ask, tell them. Give it to them. Right? And it's like, let them know what they're spending their money on. Okay? It's like, do you want to face that horror that we talked about? Like, do you want your kids to face it? And that kind of gets off into the realm of my favorite is when when you hear people who've never served calling for war.
Hmm.
And then it's like, we should attack them. We should do something about this. Okay.
Map that shit out, bro. Let me
Are
see
you
what
ready?
you came up with.
Are you ready for your kids to be in it? How long have we been in Afghanistan? 20 years? Right? You
Long
ready-
time.
you re-
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're at 20 years. Yeah.
You ready for your kids to be in it too? Like, I mean, it's an ugly thing and it eats all of us up, but that's what we do, man. Like, if you're a war fighter, that's what we do. And
Yeah.
like,
My other favorite is if I would have been there. ...
yeah.
Those are always so provocative.
And like Nick mentioned earlier, just to our friends that like who serve, right? Are still serving, that are down in a dumpster right now. We're all sad. Obviously, stuff happened, but what would they be doing if they were still here? They'd be having a steak. They'd be having a beer. Maybe
man.
some bourbon or whatever. So like we honor them. I learned a long time ago because I was always in the dumps on Memorial Day. Like it was that weekend that I needed to be triggered now. And I'm not saying that people are triggered, but I needed to feel sad and everything. But then if you look back and you think about it, they'd be barbecuing and partying right now. And if we are religious and everything, they're watching us right now. They don't want us to be down in the dump. They want us to be partying. They want us to celebrate their life. That's what it's all about. And again, I'm not trying to offend anybody that feels sad today because it's okay to feel sad, but it's all about celebrating their life. And who
Yeah.
Well, and also what Dave says, I firmly believe 100% to be true is that they are watching and they know how important what they did was. They don't need us to bend a knee and cry every
100%,
single
Joe.
time the day
100%.
comes around, because they would that's not what they would be doing. You know, that's not what they would be doing. And honestly, I went through that for quite a few Memorial Days in a row before. I remember my son, he's 9 now. He was probably 2 at the time, 2 or 3. And I woke up, it was Memorial Day, and I started thinking about those guys. And he would crawl into bed with me and put his head right here for like the last hour that we'd be in bed on a Saturday or Sunday, you know, and he'd already done that. So he's sleeping on my shoulder. And I'm sitting there thinking about them guys, and you know, I feel a tear running down both sides of my face. And I looked down, looked at him, and I was like, you know what, not today. And that was the last day that I did it. You know, like the tears and all that stuff, they're gonna come when they come. But that was the last day that I labeled that day a day I had to do that.
Amen.
You know,
I thought-
Amen, Joe.
and I actually went out there in my living room like a crazy person and had a conversation about it with them. I said, look, man, I'm gonna celebrate you guys from here on out. Because this survivor's guilt thing, it will eat you into pieces. And I don't know why it was you and not me, but I'm going to celebrate the fact that I ever got the chance to work with you guys. And that's what I've done ever since. So,
Joe,
I don't
kinda
know.
what,
Go ahead, Dave.
what you're saying, Joe, I have come like a Jekyll and Hyde with that same shit. Like half of me still feels all of that, the survivor's guilt, and it's almost like a constant fucking battle. But then the other half of me is smashing my ass through a brick wall in honor of those motherfuckers. You know what I mean? It's a constant battle. I have not been able to one side or the other completely, where I still find myself having these times of the guilt, the oh poor me, the why me, why not them, but etc. shit. But a majority of the time, it's honoring and living for them and trying to do that.
Damn right, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Hey, so we had somebody that wants to come on the show. Doc
Welcome.
Mo.
Welcome, Doc Mo.
Yeah. Doc Mo is a
Oh,
failed.
snap. Everybody,
Yeah.
hey, let's keep it PG, Doc. No, you can say whatever the hell you want, but
Yeah, Doc Mo is a failed Green Beret tryout guy. He got pretty far, but then things happen. But he was in the 18 Delta course. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so when he got sent to the center of the universe as a reject, he already had some pretty cool fucking skills that he had learned in the training before that all that bad stuff happened. But when you think about that stuff that happened to him, I don't know, Doc, did you come out? It's good to talk to you again, for one. How are you?
What's up, Doc? What's
How y'all
up?
doing? How y'all doing?
Yeah. I know you're real busy down there, and you're still in Texas, aren't you? Down in the weird part of it?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just south of Dallas.
Yeah, gross.
Transition wasn't fun in California for 5 years when I got out. So a couple of my
Yeah.
deployment buddies invited me to to Texas actually, to just couch surf and just try to make something else out here.
Yeah.
Still a big fat dip in his mouth. Nothing's
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah, they'll cut your jaw off one of these days. So did you come on and talk about the Iraq deployment, the Baghdad one?
I'm not sure if I did. If I did, it was a while back, and it's a little hazy if I did. But long story short, like you said, I was a X-ray baby. I was trying to be a special forces dude, and I got through selection, got through all that good stuff, and then I was in the 18 Delta course, and I was 20. And right at the end of it, me and this Navy SEAL cadre got into it, and he won, kicked me out. So they threw me over defense to the 82nd as an infantryman. But the 3rd Brigade, 82nd, was getting ready for a deployment in 08. So I talked to the brigade surgeon. They needed a medic. And I was like, well, I'm infantry. I don't know how you're going to work it. He's like, don't worry about it, man. We'll just make your duty position a medic, and then you could be an infantryman. So whatever. And I was like, all right. So they stuck me on their brigade protection detail, and I was the platoon medic for those guys. And we went out there in 09, so by then all the hard fighting was done, all the all the dumb people got killed already. So we're just driving around basically getting blown up. And I mean, the first 6 months of deployment was all right, but we started getting contact and then we got hit. And I lost a buddy of mine, had to work on 5 dudes. And then 3 weeks later in June of 2009, another convoy got hit and I had to work on 3 more dudes. And then a secondary went off and then I had to work on 7 more dudes on the LZ. So it was rough because that was one of my one and only deployments. Because I don't know, for some reason I just didn't get deployed that much. I just got one. But when I came to come on, I wanted to caveat off of what Joseph
caveat.
said. Yeah, I want to
Ooh,
piggyback
would it
on
be
what-
who of us to
behoove
listen?
everybody to listen.
me to piggyback off of what Joe said.
Behoove us to listen.
But I went through a hard time of transition. At the end of my career, a lot of that mental health stuff started catching up because it was just, I don't know, I guess it's a stigma in combat arms. You just don't go to behavioral health. You don't want to get stuck behind a desk. So you kind of just drink and deal with it on your own. But finally it caught up. And what I learned is that a lot of that stuff, if you don't address it, you don't go through it, it does want to get paid eventually. And when it wants to get paid, it's probably not the best timing, but it'll come about. And as soon as I got out, you know, I went back to California where I'm from, and I was alone. I didn't have battle buddies. I didn't have my boys around me, and I was just by myself. Had no purpose, had nobody telling me what to do, what the next mission was, what the next objective was. So that I was left to my own devices, in that state of mind where now I have time to think about everything that's happened. I can no longer keep myself busy. I can't drink it away. Well, I could try to drink it away, but that's a whole nother story, which ended up with multiple DUIs. But the way I
I'm in
got
that,
over
I'm
it,
in
and the-
that club, Doc. I'm in that
yeah,
club
man,
with you.
and it sucks because people look at you like, oh, you endangered lives. And I'm like, yeah, well, I kind of just got pulled over when I was making dumb mistakes on the road where I would during the day, but you guys were looking for it and I give it to you on a silver platter. But that's besides the point. You shouldn't drink and drive, obviously. But what I come to all that hard time and fucking you know, crying, endless nights, and just feeling sorry for myself, and especially on the holidays like this, whether it be a death anniversary, whether it be, you know, an engagement anniversary. When it comes to Memorial Day, that's when it's your collective, your culminating event. You start thinking about everybody you lost. But the way I got over it and the way I explained myself is that, I don't know, nowadays I'm agnostic. I believe in a higher power. I just don't like organized religion because a lot of those people are fanatics, obviously. But the way I got over it was the men that we lost, they were done. What they were meant to do in this earth and what they were meant to do in this life, they already achieved. And in order to achieve all that, that's where you get your golden ticket. It's time to fucking get promoted, go move on. And the way they go out, they don't have a choice in it. When I was raised, when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, you're a good guy. You'll go in your sleep peacefully at an old age. Well, that's not the case. It's that when you achieve everything you need to do, you will go out. But the way you go out actually will have an effect on everybody around you. Everybody that you touch, everybody that you've influenced, everybody that cares about you. How you go out is actually an event for their life. It's an event for their timeline. So when I lost my buddy violently and he was split in half and the inside of his Humvee was coated with them, and I was just like, what the fuck's going on? That type of experience and what you go through, that was meant for me. That was meant for everybody else. But he's done. Like, he's out. Like, he gave the Sammy Sosa. He's good to go. And he moved on.
All right, his pain is over.
His pain's over. Like, living on this world, like it or not, this is painful. Like, this existence is painful. So he's done. So he moved on to a better, you know, better afterlife, whatever comes next, whether it's reincarnation, whether it's an afterlife, whatever. But he moved on. He achieved what he needed to do. And the way he moved on was supposed to be an event for everybody around him. So, because I believe that what you go through in this life, it's already preordained. You're kind of a passenger in this roller coaster. You You're kind of a viewer, but all these events have a significance. It's either going to destroy you or define you. You could let it destroy you, and eventually it will define you as soon as you accept the fact that that's what it was. So, like they were saying, you know, Memorial Day can be sad. It can be really emotional. It can be really upsetting. But at the same time, if I were to go out,
Hey, I gotta stop you. I think God just showed up.
I wouldn't want my.
Look at
I would've-
the light on his
right?
face.
I wouldn't want. I wouldn't want
He'll
my
be here
friends.
for like a couple minutes, and then he'll
I
drop
would-
off again.
I
Bad
wouldn't want my
connection. He's
friends-
already
Yeah, back
freezing.
connection. See, he's already
Already
freezing. He's
freezing.
already off.
I wouldn't want my
Guys.
friends to just be sad that day. I would want them to drink in my name, drink some Jameson, play
Amen,
some
Doc.
beer pong,
100%.
you know, eat some barbecue, you know, go find some strange, do something ridiculous, because that's how we lived. That's, you know, that was our culture. That's how we rolled. So I wouldn't want them to, you know, be in the hole and be in the dark and just feel sorry for themselves. And God forbid, you know, want to just quit. I would want
Now,
to just party
I
it
know
up.
his Doc. I know his name. You know, the battle buddy you lost, but I'll let you say it, and we'll cheers to him. And
To
say where he's
Sergeant
from.
Justin Joseph Duffy of Cozad, Nebraska, 3rd Brigade, 82nd,
Cheers.
June 2nd, 2009.
Cheers.
Cheers, Duff. Well, as we can see, I don't know if we want to give the show right to Buddy because we don't know where he is.
Let's see if he can.
Um,
Let's see if he can last and stay on for about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
It's like the test before he drops off.
I mean, I should be able to.
we are
but,
live, by the way,
we'll
buddy.
see.
So what
I
you're
know his
doing is being
ADHD kicks in and
broadcasted.
everything, and then it just goes crazy, and he loses connection. So maybe we should, Nick. Maybe we should just give it to Buddy.
Yeah, Buddy, what do you got?
Buddy, it's you.
So, well, I mean, the reason I'm late, first of all, to kind of caveat off of what Doc was
twice.
just saying, boom, was a bunch of my guys for my last team just deployed. So their wives and a couple of the guys that haven't left yet, we all went out and did some kayaking and some canoeing today. And kind of got on the river a lot longer than we thought that we were going to be on the river. But like Doc said, spending time with your family, whether it's your Army family or your veteran family or your actual family, and you know, all of the guys that I know, all loved being around their guys. They loved being around their family, like. You know, it's not the guy that I'm going to talk about today, but, you know, like Dan Woodcock, that guy was probably the best dad I've ever seen in my life. Kettle, you know, the list goes on and on. All those guys cared about their family. They wanted to be with their family. And they were like, when is the last time you saw any of those guys? Like, I don't remember any of them ever feeling sorry for themselves or being like, down or sad, or you know, they were out like crushing it. They were either out hanging out with their family, hanging out with their guys on the weekends, having barbecues, and you know, going to bars, or you know, or going out and meeting the fine young ladies of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Or you know, they were in the prime of their life, and they were living their life like they wanted to live it. And to be honest, 3/4 of them died the way they wanted to die. Like I could die 100 years from now, old, shitty, with like my family gone and all that shit. Or like those dudes, at least if they had to go, they went with their boys. You know what I mean? They went with people that loved them and cared about them and still remember them 10, 20, 50, 60 years later for, you know, those World War II guys and you know, Vietnam veterans. Like, they're not forgotten. And the longer you're not forgotten, you know, the more you were here. You know what I mean?
That legacy will always be
Furthermore,
there.
buddy,
Yep.
what you're saying, their life wasn't a tragedy.
that's kind of what Doc
It
was
had
saying
me-
too.
It had me. It had
Exactly.
meaning.
There are plenty of people that don't live life and live to be 90 years old. And there are a lot of people that fucking burn this motherfucker down for 25, 30, maybe 40 years. And then they're gone. You know what I mean? But the impact that they made in that 25, 30, 40 years is quadruple the amount of impact that, you know, some guy that just did nothing for 90 years made. So, I mean, you know, the old saying of, you know, don't be sad that they're gone. Be happy that those motherfuckers existed. Like, the fact that they were even around and that you had the fucking privilege to know them.
To know them.
And
Boom.
to know them and to be a better person. I'm a better person for every one of those fucking dudes that I ever met. Whether or not, you know, it was, I took something from all of them. And it made me the person I am today. It made you guys the people that you are today, you know, and at the end of the day, knowing a lot of those guys is the reason I'm fucking alive today, because I learned lessons that, you know, on other deployments made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. And I was like, hold up, everybody, let's just chill the fuck out and see what's going on. And we didn't walk into an ambush, or we fucking stopped before we got to an IED, or, you know, we did something else. And all of that happened because of something that I learned from them, or that we learned from them. And again, like, we've said it on the show, we've said it a million times. You have the ability to choose the attitude you want when you're looking at a situation. You can either look at it and you know, be sad about it, shitty about it, and, oh, it should have been me, you know, or why me and not him? Or you can look at it and have the attitude of, like, you know, shit happens. It's not mine to fucking pick who does and who doesn't get to go. You know, it could have been me, but it was somebody else.
Let me cut you off, buddy. Again, those of you watching on Gruntworks and Veteran Trash Talk, if you want to come on and share a story of a battle buddy you lost, please just message us. We'll give you the code. You can come on, because what we've just heard over the first 30 minutes is probably what, I don't know. Bill's going to, he's going to a weird master's degree, not the Yale or Southwest. He's at like Arizona State or something, but like
the Harvard of the Southwest.
yeah. So
He's a sergeant major, so he can do whatever he wants.
yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong here, or put it in more school word terms. Is we just heard about 5 people give you the exact same story in a completely different way of how we deal with it, of what we should, how we should deal with it, what we did that was wrong. But that's kind of what I picked up, Bill, was that, like, you know, Doc went all agnostic, weird talk, but in the same sense, he was, you know, he was talking about, you know, you served your purpose on life, and then everyone around you was affected by it.
That would be a religious belief or some sort of a belief, but
yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of agnostic too, Doc, so it's okay. But
you know,
you're pushing
and,
your way of life onto others. That's what religion does too.
Buddy's 100% right. You know, those lives shaped who we are, and you know, man, I know when I become a
steel.
And I know when I become a triggered pansy, which we all become triggered pansies, so don't let anybody fucking lie to you. Everybody does. So when I become a triggered pansy, I sit there and I'm like, man, fucking, what are you doing? Like think about like the blessings that you have, that you're still alive, and you're fucking worried about fucking Bill over here with the red shit behind him, you know? So it's like, but Bill, what do you got going on right now?
Yeah, so I'm not going to piggyback or behoove or, but I will follow Buddy.
You have to. You are a sergeant major.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Bill.
Yeah, so let me caveat off of
What
Buddy.
did they teach you at that fucking place?
For
Boom,
Christ's
I like
sake, at
that,
least
Bill.
speak the
There we
language, Bill.
Come on,
There we
Bill.
go. There we go.
Nick,
It's like
you're
yell at
still-
somebody and say, "Get off my grass" for a second or something. Do
No, I'm
something.
definitely
Sergeant
not the
Major-ish.
grass guy. Definitely not the grass guy. But yeah, to go off of what Buddy said, I'm a better man because of some of those dudes. The guy I was going to come, man, I can talk about so many people. Like all of you guys, you start putting together, your 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th deployment. You get a pretty long list of friends you've lost along the way. Russell Bell was one of those dudes. 4th Brigade 82nd. We lost him in 2012. That was if any of my Fury brothers are watching, that was a rough deployment. For a while, we were the most amputee brigade in the Army. We were losing a limb a week down in Zari district outside of Kandahar. Basically, we were playing the IED
Never
lottery.
heard of it.
We were playing the IED lottery. But Russell Bell was one of those dudes that made everyone better around him. It's hard to meet anybody that didn't know who Russell Bell was in that division and weren't a better leader because of him. And he got hit with an IED like a lot of us did in that area. If you guys remember the old Micklicks to help set off IEDs, I mean, we would fire a Micklick down the street and get 16 IEDs go off. We had Travis Mills. He became the quad amputee out of the 82nd. He does, TED Talks now. For a while, I was the same way. Memorial Day was my excuse to be the sad dude. And then you realize people like, Andy Marcusano, Russell Bell, Andy Weathers, those dudes wouldn't want us sitting around all bummed out crying. They want us partying like they would be doing if they were here, which without a doubt, that's what they would be doing. So that's the best way I've gone about it. I mean, again, kind of like what Dave said, I don't want to make people feel bad for feeling sad because we've all been there. And hell, I was
Completely okay.
down.
Yep.
I smoked a brisket yesterday, so I was stuck outside for 10 hours, and there were times I got pretty bummed out and down thinking about some of those dudes.
Sergeant G just did a double take because you said I smoked and changed it on him, but now he's disappointed because you said brisket.
Because I mean, not a lot of us know what it's like to put your friend in a body bag, or have to pick up a dead friend. Those memories are always going to haunt us. I mean, it's not Memorial Day that just remember. Hell, sometimes driving to work on a Tuesday, that shit will just pop into your head. And I posted something on Gruntworks. I'll post it on the BTT page too. To go back to what we were talking about earlier about why we enjoyed deployments. I don't want to say almost like enjoyment. It's not the word, but Sebastian Younger did a 13-minute speech one time about why soldiers like deploying or being deployed. And it's because you can't mimic that camaraderie and feeling a family anywhere else. Yeah, we have family and we have wives and kids. We all love them. But that sense of camaraderie and team and family, just you can't mimic that in any other situation than you can in combat. We all love our families, but it's different than when you literally put your life in somebody else's hands on a daily basis and completely have that trust in them. So when talking to civilians and they ask me, how come some of you guys liked being there? I have them watch that. So if you get, like I said, I posted it in Gruntworks. I'll post it everywhere else. It's the perfect explanation of why we liked being over there. It wasn't, this is still the adrenaline rush. We're not gonna lie. We've all had that adrenaline rush that we miss sometimes. But it's that camaraderie of the dudes you're with. That's what it is. You just can't mimic that. And Russell
You can't
Bell
mimic the stakes you're playing with.
Yeah, and Russell Bell was one of those dudes. Russell Bell was going what Joe said earlier was Russell. I was half the soldier, half the paratrooper that dude ever was. And everybody felt that way. Russell Bell was a hard mofo. So was Andy Weathers. So when dudes like that go down, it kind of puts it in perspective that, hey, man, that can happen to any of us. So you kind of let go a little bit because first you go through that shock, then you're like, shit, man. if those dudes can go down, my ass can easily go down any
Go down.
second.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you're fighting a war where, like, anybody who's been to southern Afghanistan knows you're playing the ID lottery every time you take a step, you start to let go a little bit. You know what I mean? And going back with the TBI, man, I know what you I know you're talking about. You've heard me talking on the show before. You know, I just went through another round of TBI appointments. I know what it's like to get blown up. You just can't remember shit. And it's the most frustrating.
Nick
Can't
knows
even
all
explain
about
the
that.
frustration, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, Joe and I talk a lot on the phone, especially when it comes to fights. And I've caught Joe, I know you've done it too. We start talking feedback loops with each other, and it's because our brains, our wires just aren't touching like they used to anymore. You get those brains rattled so many times, like, oh man, Joe, what the hell was I just talking about? Oh,
Yep.
shit.
Nope. Yeah. No. Where? No. Where?
Oh yeah, we got.
Where?
Are we going this weird little?
That's
side
Joe's
road.
signature move, man.
when I say where were we mid sentence? Like I don't know, motherfucker. You were talking.
Hey, but hey,
it's true.
let's go, Buddy first. Buddy, let's say Danny's name, where he's from, and let's cheers him.
Who?
Your buddy.
Travis. Mine was
Which one?
Travis.
Oh, is it Bell? Okay, yeah. So say the name.
Russell Bell and Tyler Texas.
Bill, that's the
Corporate
TBI you
Gator.
just talked about, Bill. Nick had no clue what was going
Got
on. He handed it over to
spot
Buddy after your amazing,
Here's to
amazing speech.
First honor Russell Bell. First honor Russell Bell.
First Summer Bell.
Tyler Texas. 4th Brigade 82nd.
Bill, that was awesome, brother.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Yeah, so again, anybody who's watching, if you want to come on, just come on. All right, just send us a message on Veteran Trash Talk and come on and talk about it. Hey, Sergeant G been kind of quiet down there, the Stone Vet. We got going
That's
on.
why
brother?
he's quiet. That's why he's
Spectating.
quiet.
He's just spectating.
I had to mute the mic. Y'all didn't see it. I had the wife over here yelling at me.
Yeah,
She was
probably
out. She
deserved that
was
shit,
off.
too.
I wish
She was off camera. She was yelling at me. She
He
said,
like a
I
bowl
"I
of
thought you was gonna be
crayons
like
over
5
there.
minutes."
Where them crayons at?
That's what it was. At. She was yelling at me. Y'all didn't see the knife hand. I don't think y'all saw the knife hand coming out from her.
They do
He
knife
was
hands in the
getting
Marine
crazy.
Corps? They do knife hands in the Marine
And,
Corps?
fuck yeah! I don't know now. I hear you can't do it now. I hear it's against the rules and regulations now.
Tell us
you
how
can't
you
knife
really
hand
feel.
anybody.
Tell us how you really feel. Come on now. Sergeant G, the floor is yours, brother.
Hey, the Stone
Hey,
Vet.
man,
USMC.
It's just like Sergeant Matt just said, man. That's the biggest thing that we struggle with is camaraderie. We lose the camaraderie when we get out. We all have our own lives. We all are doing our own things. When we're serving, we're involved in each other's lives on a daily basis because we're right there every day with each other. But when we get out, we have our own lives. We have our own jobs. We have our own this. We have our own that going on. Like me, myself, I've been with my wife for 21 years. I got 7 kids. I'm hooked up regularly, daily. I'm hooked up,
About
right?
time to get snipped, bro.
But you-
About
So
time to
y'all
get
got TV down there?
You
7
couldn't
kids.
pull
You-
out of
you-
a
you know-
wet paper bag.
that's-
You know what I
Must be
tell people
Catholic or
though?
something.
You know what I tell people? I've had more kids now that I got snipped than before I got snipped. But that's the biggest thing is that we can't forget. You like I said, it's Memorial Day, right? We're reminiscing about the brothers, our family has sacrificed everything for us to be able to sit here and do these kind of meetings. Sit around the table, hang out, and enjoy the camaraderie that we lost while serving. And so that's why I always do my shows to try to bring somebody close to where we're sitting in the same room. If we can't sit in the same room, but we on a Zoom call talking and reminiscing and just having that camaraderie we lost while serving.
We're still
You get
around
out
the table.
and then you're around the table whenever you on my shot try to make it a round table where you're hanging out like every Friday. You know how they're always like, man, you should have seen what Sergeant G had me doing this week. This motherfucker, I'm gonna choke his ass out. You know, but you get to sit there and have a couple of drinks, got the grill going, and just reminiscing about the week. And so that's why I try to do my shows, just to help people feel like, hey, there's somebody here I can relate to. There's just somebody here I can talk. I can reminisce about the good old days that we had. You know, because it does suck. It does suck. We get out and then we go back home or we go across the world and we're not close with anybody anymore.
It's funny you
And
bring
that's
that
why I
up.
always
I'm gonna let
stress,
you. I'm
hey,
gonna let
you
you
have
continue.
to.
I'm gonna let you continue here and say it's funny you bring that up. And to this day, and I know I've mentioned it to Joe a couple times, Nick and I have always stayed in contact. Like, always. I went to recruiting, he did everything. I lost contact to Joe. Joe was my saw gunner. Joe and I laid waste in combat. Like, we've been there, done that. We've bled together, everything. And he got out, and we kind of lost contact, man. And then I didn't find out all the hardships that he went through until we formed this team, VTT. And I'm like, I look back and I'm like, fuck, man, I failed Joe. You know, I didn't hit him up. But
Yeah,
like
you
now I know
did.
his, you know, yeah. It's just
Well,
I
life
was
happens,
I was
you know?
hell bent on
Joe,
I
what
was
would
doing
make
at the
the, what
moment.
what would make this better?
What's that now?
oh, Joe and I
What
have
would-
had this conversation.
What would
Joe and
make
I have
this
had
better? Does he
conversation.
need to flog himself?
I honestly would just I'd like to see if we
Yeah.
can get Dave's modeling pics from when he was in Germany up. You know, I think that would make me feel better.
But anyway, the camaraderie, Sergeant G.
You
I
notice
want
how
to
he
get back
just
to that.
shifted.
That's the most
He just
important thing
pivoted.
ever. Yeah.
Oh, we interrupted him, so he wants to get his point out. We should never interrupt Dave because he talks like every 6 hours. So
I've been
sorry.
talking this entire show,
Yeah,
Nick.
I
We
was
don't
gonna
even know
say,
where we're at
Dave-
That's
anymore.
what happened.
Like talk over people.
Yeah,
He's the only one.
only when I'm wrong, buddy. Only when I'm wrong.
Oh, shit.
Buddy, go fix that lip.
Hey, but you know,
Hey,
you,
that
you,
shit-
you
How
know
is
that's,
that's herpes, buddy. If it's still there after
buddy,
this
if
long,
that's still there.
you're
scabs
not
heal,
not
buddy.
hiding it.
According to
Yes.
Buddy, it was a boot to the face. Somebody
It's a
kicked him.
Breva.
Yeah.
Went away. It came back. It's back. But it'll go away. It's fine. It's the sun. It was out.
Yeah.
The sun, guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to
And
Buddy's
just-
video on YouTube.
just
How to
tell-
do
just-
Tinder as a special forces
J-
guy.
just
Yeah.
how to do Tinder as a guy with herpes. That's gonna be
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
Just
That's
come
the
in
next
from
video.
the east. It's over here on the west. Just come in from the
Yeah.
Sergeant G, I'm sorry,
don't
it
worry.
derailed real quick.
It's
You
not
good,
an
Dave,
accurate
you good,
breakdown,
man.
like we're good.
Hey,
Oh,
you
but
say-
this is
again,
this is what
But, but
It's
like,
a
this
dumpster
is,
fire. It's a dumpster
No.
fire.
Yeah, but here's that. That's the thing, though. Like,
What,
Yo.
herpes?
well, I mean, herpes. the fact that civilians,
It is the thing.
civilians and non-veterans don't understand that we can like be like, damn,
no,
dude. you
they're
know,
like those guys are getting ready to fight. It's like, no, the fuck, we're not. This is just Monday night.
This is love that you're
People that
watching.
they're the people that are like behind people's backs will be like, oh shit, did you see Beck's fucking lip? He might have that herp. And like,
Not might.
That's why we're doing it.
Dude, what the fuck? Does your lip got some herpes? Herpes that's on your lip? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we'll call each other out. We'll keep each other honest. By the way,
Yeah.
for everybody listening, I got kicked in the fucking face. It's not herpes, so it's and plus 90% of people have herpes. And so it would be weird if it was, guys.
Now he's giving us the whole breakdown. Yeah.
Yeah, Beckwood actually looked up those facts that he could defend
Most
himself.
people that have herpes have a long story about what happened to their lip. It doesn't take
Genetic.
this long.
It's genetic. I
It
got it.
doesn't
My
take.
parents.
This
I've had
feels
this my whole life.
pre-programmed.
People get jujitsu herpes, guys. It's
He's been
fine.
coached. He seems
Fine.
coached.
All the research he's
Don't
done,
worry
he's
about it.
got it. He's all concerned now.
Yeah. You
All
got
right,
that,
G,
buddy?
back to you, bro.
Yeah.
no, man. But this is what it's about. The bullshit, like you guys said. We call them out. We call them out. That's what we do. That's what we do as brothers. We talk shit to your face and talk good behind your back. Make sure that you taking care of. Make sure people know
Real
you
friends
are
stab
reliable.
you in
and
the
better what you're
front.
doing. You know, my friends will stab you in the front, right? Exactly. We'll stab you in the face and not in the back. And I mean, that's what it's about. We reminisce, right? There's a lot of us that have lost our brothers and sisters to the ultimate sacrifice to allow us to be able to sit here and bullshit with each other today, right? That's the only thing we got. We just got to remember is that they gave the ultimate sacrifice for us. And it's like you guys, like you were saying, is that we missed that adrenaline, we missed that rush, we missed being over there. And it's not so much that it's like people ask me, they say, "Do you miss the Marine Corps?" I said, "No, I don't miss the Marine Corps. I miss the camaraderie I had when I was in the Marine Corps because I had my brother to my left, to my right, and I could reach out and say, hey, come here, I need some help. I need some help. I need some help. And we have to remember that we still need to be able to reach out to each other and say, hey, brother, I need some help today. I'm struggling today. The demons fell off the shelf, and I got to get them back in the box and we'll get them back on the shelf. And we need to remember that we can't reach out to everybody and say, hey, I'm needing help today. Today's a bad day. You know?
I
Yep.
hear it, man. That's what I.
You know what?
and That's what I said earlier when transitioning back home. Is that that's what I missed? Is that you could put out a message, a group message, and be like, "Hey, man, I had a bad day. anybody want to drink with me? And you get like 4 responses back. But when you get home with your friends, your hometown friends, you put out that message and there's no response. And you're like, man, that sucks. Like that's
Yeah.
Or you get to do my friends the War Veteran World Tour at all the parties, and you get to answer like 400 questions that you've answered 400 times from 400 different jagoffs.
yeah.
What was
And
it
it's just
like?
like, this
Did
is
you
like,
shoot anybody?
yeah. Do
Oh, yeah.
you
I
still
did,
think about
so-
things? And it's like, dude, I think
So-
about killing you. Can I just have a fucking beer and get away from these idiots? But
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Herpy.
so, yeah, so,
Hey, done.
my,
It's
my
done.
niece,
New
my
nickname,
niece
buddy.
is deployed. My niece is deployed right now, and she called me the other day and was talking about coming back, and she's like, she was talking about moving and going someplace else, going to a different unit or whatever. She's like, and she's in the reserves or guard or whatever. Anyway, but
Does that
she's
make
like,
them
well,
any
I-
less, buddy? Does that make
If
them
you
any
wait a
less?
second,
Yes,
I'll
yes,
explain
yes, it does.
that,
The weekend warrior. Yes.
except for the fact that like
Make
she's
some
been
part-time,
deployed
that's
more
all.
times-
Doc, you're out of
she's
the
been
army. You
deployed more
quit.
times
That doesn't
than
count.
Those fucking
I
other
was-
people.
I was reserve.
So, but that's the thing. She's like, well, I'm worried about leaving my friends. I was like, well, I know this is your first deployment or whatever, but you're about to find out when you come home that you don't speak the same fucking language as your friends anymore. You're not the same person. You're not going to be able. They're going to tell you about how their day was quote unquote shitty, and you're going to be like, but nobody died though. What the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Did you get shot at? Like, no, then shut the fuck up. You
They
had a
didn't
great
put
day.
enough creamer in your fucking
goes-
latte at
That
Green
goes
Bay?
Hey, what-
that goes
what
hand
are
in,
you
that goes
bitching
hand
about?
in hand with the civilian that tells you right before you leave, just don't change. Like, wait, what?
What?
But
What?
here's the
Wait a
thing.
minute, wait a
Here's
minute.
what I
Okay,
don't understand. Why
do you have
is
the
it-
book?
why is
Do you have
it-
the book on how not to?
Spot
ahead.
on, buddy.
Yeah, but who-
Spot on.
But here's the question though. Why is my change because I went to combat and because I got to hang out with the absolute best that the United States has to offer? Why is my change a bad thing? You stayed home and continue to work at the 7-Eleven or at your daddy's fucking shop or going to college and didn't change. I left, saw the world, saw culture, saw the worst parts of the world, saw the best parts of humanity and the worst parts of humanity, and my change is not good. Go fuck yourself. Like, I've seen what the good and the bad. You've literally just sheltered yourself. Yeah, you didn't change. Our fucking job is to change. That's
I'm gonna play
like,
devil's
everyone's
advocate.
job
I'm
is
gonna play
to
devil's
better.
advocate, and this is a Memorial Day episode, so we're gonna continue on honoring. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate, buddy. So you're saying everybody that doesn't want to join, or doesn't join to serve, that they're less? I'm just curious.
No.
Okay.
I'm saying
Put that on a
I'm
recruiting
saying
poster,
if-
Dave.
if-
I know,
If,
buddy's
you
doing
don't
some
join,
good shit
you're
right here. I need to
less.
send this shit to USAREC, man.
We're-
Go ahead, buddy.
Here at the Army, we're better than you.
Shameless
We know it.
Dave. Shameless Dave. Always finds a way to throw a plug in there for recruiting.
they can make a sick
Devil's advocate, baby.
We can talk about when my two dads got married and how awesome my life has been. I've always been a soldier. Fucking weirdos.
Dave directed
Any-
that video, by the way. Dave
Oh,
made that
Dave
video.
probably that was.
Buddy
Dave's
always has the
idea.
best comebacks, and I knew he could react to this. That's why I love the guy, man.
The fact that the Russian one made me want to join the Russian army is really.
Boom.
I was like, Jesus, those guys are. I want to do that. Like, they're.
Did you see that shit, bro?
I was like, that guy looks jacked up. But then I also noticed that they have like a bolt action rifle, and I was like, hold up, stud.
Yeah, that's
a,
some like fucking 30 years ago shit.
Those the god, dude. Is Russia talking? Look at this. You get bullet. You get gun. He die. You take gun. Like.
And
still-
oh, by the way, we can't feed you because we don't have enough food for
They
you.
also, I was gonna say also, I hope you enjoy a
Hey.
steady diet of borscht.
You
Okay.
guys better. You better stop. Bill's about to get pissed. Everybody knows he's Russian as fuck.
Russian as fuck.
But
How
But
dare I?
anyway,
Spot on, buddy. Spot on.
what I'm saying is that but just because I changed doesn't make my change it doesn't make it bad. Like, if your change is not bad, then why the fuck is my change bad? Like,
Does it have to be biological?
you seem better than you. Well, I mean, that's called a transition, Nick, and
Come on,
you're
Nick.
still doing it. Calm down. Like, one of these days, you'll be able to grow your hair out long and really do your thing.
I mean, I don't know what you're getting at, but
Hey, I'll
Buddy,
tell you right
spot
now, I
on,
don't know where the
brother,
fuck
spot
you're
on.
going with this, and I don't think I like
Anywho,
it. Boys, I'm running out of daylight, and I've got
Seems-
ribs to eat.
Yo,
seems like
Joe,
ask
Joe,
Joe right now.
Joe, you're up, man.
Oh, is it my
I'm-
turn?
Yeah.
does
All right,
Chris have
well-
pictures?
Christopher, if you got pictures, run them. Excuse my daylight. I didn't realize that we would be running out this quick today, but
Joe didn't pay the bills. So
well, I'm the sun. Come on, David, I'm outside.
hashtag alien.
But no, I want to talk about our boys, Tracy Willis and Josh Morley. They I mean, talk about two guys that you looked up to. I mean, Tracy and I were the same rank, but that Reaper 2 team, they were a scout team, and then Corvo rounded them out as the third. But man, they were just. I looked up to them as professionals. I mean, Corvo as could shoot. Tracy was it just. They walked around, you knew that these guys were respected before you even met them, because I came to Two Panther, like, Nick, when did we get there? It was like 45 days before they deployed.
Yeah, something like that.
So you're meeting a lot of these guys. I was meeting on the deployment. Tracy and Josh were two of them. And just professionals top to bottom. They August 26, 2007, they were involved in a pretty well executed ambush, heavily outnumbered. I know that Nick draws a lot from this story because I mean, for lack of a better word, Nick was tabbed to be on this mission. And I believe our PL shut it down because we had something going on, right, Nick? You said you're not pulling them.
Yeah, we had the night prior to that, we had smoked two guys putting in an IED, and I was cleaning my 240. I was cleaning my 240, and Josh came down and said, "Hey, Nick, we're going out again in the morning." And I was like, "Okay, cool, man, let's do it. I'll be ready." And then he came back an hour later and said, "Hey, your PL next to you because you're on QRF, so you're gunning for him tomorrow, so you can't go on with the Reaper team." I was like, "All right, man, good hunting." So that's the last thing I said to him.
That's so powerful, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I won't get into all the details of the story, but they were ambushed. I will say this: they both went out very valiantly. And if you look up the definition of valiantly, it's with courage and determination. Josh was shot, and I believe I wasn't there, so from what they said, what they wrote about it, it was headshot. He was killed instantly. Tracy was hit while throwing frags over a wall to try and stop people from coming up the stairwell, and fell on his own grenade, and after being shot, and died instantly when it went off. But we were QRF platoon that day, and I never got to taste any of that fight. And the part about it that I carry that makes me sick when I think about it is having a cigarette that morning and hearing a gunfight going off, and knowing that
Remember, Joe, you and I were outside.
Reaper 2 was the only one outside the wire at that point. That's a scout platoon, and I'm hearing heavy automatic. And I'm thinking, okay, there's a fucking problem. You know, something's going on. And everybody started, you know, QRF started to get spun up shortly after that. Stuff started to go down. And when it all was said and done, we ended up reading the details or getting the details as they came to us. But I read the full story after we were home. But my memories of that day were Tracy and Josh coming back and the utter disbelief of what I was looking at, that was where they were laying. You could not process it. Man, I remember looking at Doc Esser and Doc Esser telling me which was which, because they were in bags. And man, you can't fucking believe it when you see it.
I got to get out of here, boys. But the last thing I'll leave you with is that what Sergeant Major said, to go off of that, I called it accepting your own mortality. When we got hit and we lost guys, that wakes you up. We're not invincible, even though we fucking trained and we trained and we trained and we trained and we're like, we could do anything. And then you lose big guys that you looked up to. You accept your own mortality at that point. And I can't describe it to people. I used to tell them, I was like, yeah, it's like one day you're good. You see somebody fall that you looked up to and you're like, man, that could happen to me. And you're like, well, cool. And then every mission after that, you're like, well, if I go, I go. Whatever. It's not a big deal. Obviously, it was my time to go. But then you look at missions like Joe said, and you're like, it goes back. I'm not trying to push a religion on anybody. Like I said, I'm agnostic. It's nothing. But you weren't there for a reason, because you still have an objective to do. So
Yeah, Doc, that's good. Hey, thanks for stopping by too. No, it's good talking to you again, and I hope this. I know it helps me every time I talk with you guys. So I'm sure you'll go to bed feeling a little better tonight.
definitely, my daughter needs me. She's crying right now, so I gotta
Go get her. Go be a dad.
I hear, man. Go
So, no, I'm glad. My family just got home, so my girls just walked in while Joe was telling that.
Yeah,
kind of bringing back the center. So,
Joe,
I love y'all. I love y'all. So y'all have a good night.
all right,
safe,
brother.
Doc.
By the way, that sound of crying is also what Nick said Joe made when he
separated his shoulder. Yeah, it was bad.
Just keep going where Joe was at.
To go out where Joe was. Again, just to put some, just how good Josh was, just how good he was at his job. So when these,
Are you gonna turn it into a joke on the OP where you guys were at, and you and Josh were out there, and we all missed, but you and Josh were hitting?
Yeah, we hit him. But well, that was luck on my part. But I can get to the good technical part on why he could hit people. So when you carried a 240 out for these sniper teams, all right, you got to be kind of a bigger guy. So Joe couldn't do it, and his shoulder was out from from what I did to him. But you had to carry about 1,000 rounds.
Come on, man.
And like 20 water bottles. So when you're humping out the back of the patrol base with that stuff on and the 240, like it's a lot of weight. So you had to be in shape. And so I'm carrying it out there, and it's like the scariest time of my life. There's like fucking 4 of us, like running through this city, just us 4, and it's like one person sees us, we're dead, like instantly, like shit, So we get into this house, we get set up, and it was my turn to watch. We had to take keep a family in the house and, pretty much house arrest them so that they couldn't tell us that we were in there. But so it was my turn to be watch on them. And Dave's OP was out, and they saw the bad guys first. And well, when they shot, all the dust in the room kicked up, right, Dave? Like,
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
It was
all of a sudden,
crazy.
no-
Yeah.
all of a sudden nobody could fucking see out of their OP. So they were shooting blind.
It was right there. We were shooting through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm running up the stairs because we hear all the gunfire, right? And Cuervo, who in the picture, Stacy Sexton's asking, is that George Bush putting out his Distinguished Service Cross?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It sure is.
It
sure is.
But we get into that later. Should be a Medal of Honor, and I know General Luong petitions it every year. So he
Shout out to
tries
him.
get him a Medal of Honor. But I get up there and Cuervo goes right for the 240, right? And I was like, get off the fucking 240, like, because like I had carried that. It's my 240. I'm zeroed on it. I'm like, get the fuck off of it, right? So like, I pick it up, and I had the first 80 rounds of was British ammo. So it was tracer ball, and it's
Basically
red
looked like
laser.
a firefight in Star Wars.
Yeah,
I
a
saw
red
it
laser.
though. Like Nick is actually telling the truth
Literally.
right now.
Literally,
Red,
it looks
la-
like laser.
red,
beams.
red laser comes out. So I put this freaking 240 up on the rooftop, right? And I'm like, I'm not aiming. It's nighttime. Fucking nods are down. I'm just gonna shoot over there, right? So like I click it on fire and just rip it. Well, I see the two guys running. Well, first of all, I go, Morley, where are they? And Morley goes, they're headed fucking north. Lasers them right away. Like this is from like 400 meters away. Boom. I put the laser on. I see him. I'm like, wow. I hit the 240. Laser goes right into the first guy. Pure luck. Like I've shot the 240 plenty of times with skill. This was not one of those times. And but the laser went like right into him. So now old man Chavez was with us. Chavez comes upstairs, and and there's this guy, he's like still crawling, and this is where the technical aspect came in. So Cuervo gets his sniper rifle. This is about 450 at nighttime, right, from a rooftop, and this guy's crawling in between stuff, and Morley lasers him, gives Cuervo the distance, and Chavez was like, hey, are we sure that's a bad guy? And because Chavez just got to the fight, we're like, yeah, yes.
We sent the message back 100%. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, 100% he's a bad guy. And
Hey, watch this. We'll show you whether we think he is or not.
Well, before the message got back to Morley that it was a bad guy or not, Morley goes, fuck it, Cuervo, put a bullet in him, right? And Cuervo just, boom, dude just drops, right? And I talk so much shit to Cuervo that during this time, like you'd think that you would just be like, dude, we just waxed these two guys. This is pretty cool. He drops his sniper rifle, drops it in place, comes over to me and goes, tell me I can't fucking shoot again. I was like, you good? You good, bro?
Yeah.
Like, got you. I got
We
you.
were just watching. He was an enemy combatant, just setting up an ID. We're good to go.
Yeah. And, but yeah, that's,
Well, hey, let's toast one before I gotta hop off because I do. But let's toast.
Yo, finish up your story, man.
yeah, finish up your
Well,
story.
hey,
Joe.
well, all right. No, what I remember from that day was it's crazy how much I got to know Tracy and Josh after they died, because you just, everything moves so fast over there, and like Bill and everybody was saying, you can't remember shit. But I remember being out with those guys, being out with Reaper 2, and always feeling like, man, we got some aces with us, because we didn't feel comfortable around anybody. Second platoon. I mean, we were comfortable around us. First platoon
Roughnecks, baby.
First platoon had taken, a massive hit, and some of the best NCOs in the company had fallen, and we didn't trust ourselves around a whole lot of people after that. And Reaper 2, whenever they were out, it was just like, yeah, we're solid. I remember spending nights at Ubani on the roof with Cuervo, and Tracy actually beat the shit out of one of the Iraqi police, and it was absolutely hilarious. They wanted to fight. They actually, I'll tell the story about Tracy real quick. They wanted to throw hands, and Tracy, big grin, both double teeth grin, like, yeah, all right, I'll do it. And they're like thinking like, okay, well, they had a couple of guys that wanted to like sit there and squabble, and one knee from Tracy when they were pinned up against the wall, and that was over. It wasn't fun anymore because he was a absolute fucking hoss. And I will say that seeing those guys fall is one thing that I will never forget. I will always think of them on this day, and from now till the day I die. But Josh Morley was a fucking stud. Tracy Willis was a fucking stud. And I'm gonna tell us both of them. Tracy Willis, Texan, killed August 26, 2007. Josh Morley from North Carolina, killed August
Samara,
26,
the
2000.
longest day, right? For anybody that,
Yeah,
that looks it up. Yeah,
Yeah, the
Samara,
American
longest day or
Spectator.
longest
You can
day
go
in
read
Samara.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the American Spectator.
They had the
you can go
cover.
read
They
about
had the
it.
cover story in the American Spectator, written by Jeff Emanuel. It's called
Now
"Ambushing
people have torn
Samara."
that
the
story
longest
apart.
morning.
They've said, "Hey, this really didn't happen." No,
It's so fucking
Like the
easy to
story.
do that too.
Yep,
You know, it's
yep.
so fucking easy to like that dude carried a weapon and went on patrols with us that wrote that story. And he was warned. If you do a story about those guys and you fucking disrespect them, there's going to be
Corvo
some
used
people
a
that come looking for
PKM
you.
to like his
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy story. Just look it up.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get into the whole story, because it's the firefight is a long story. But do yourself a favor and read about those two heroes. You can look it up. Just type in "Ambushing Samara: The Longest Morning," and it will pop up. And they do an entire story. And they got the cover of the actual physical magazine when that came out. But
Yeah,
gentlemen, I'm gonna call it an evening from here, just because I'm on the East
Hey,
Coast.
cheers,
so
Joe.
hey, cheers,
brother.
brothers. I
The
love you
sun
guys.
went out. The sun
Been-
went out.
been-
Love you, Joe.
Been good, gentlemen. Love
The
you guys.
music's over in
Take it easy,
Charlotte.
brother.
Yeah, that team. So that's another conversation that I blocked out of my head. But no, when
It gets
Josh
to you,
came-
though, Nick. It gets to you.
Yeah,
Talk about it. I
when-
love it. Talk about it.
when Josh came down to my room when I was cleaning my 240 from the firefight prior, he said where they were going, and I was like, "Haven't we already been there before?" And he was like, "Yeah, but it's defensible. So, and we got first platoon with us. We'll be all right." And that was before I said good hunting. And again, there was a Sudanese sector in Samara that for 2 weeks they weren't there. And now that I'm a higher ranking person with situational awareness, I might have picked up on that. But when I was a Joe gunning a fucking 240, I didn't give a shit, So it's like, you pay attention to that kind of stuff. So the Sudanese had went after them, and their whole mission was to capture American bodies. And
those
they,
fuckers were crazy.
yeah, and so when I didn't go, they took another guy from our company, and just I don't really want to talk about that part of it because I don't like it, but maybe offline I'll talk about it. But again, so it's I just have that gut feeling that if I was the 240 gunner there, they'd still be here. But again, they were the ones that they did defend it. And Cuervo fired every round out of his sniper rifle.
Dude, Cuervo's a
And-
fucking OG. The definition of an OG. Like,
So, and two guys that were trying to drag Josh away, took him down. And when the guy came up the stairwell at him, he fired his 24, and it clicked. No more ammo. Right, Dunsky's. This guy fired his PKM from 4 feet away from him. Cuervo's like, it was 4 feet. And like the click was not, he was not out of ammo. He had 1 round left. So it had
put
missed
it right in his head.
put the round around it. And he's like, that guy fired a PKM at me from 4 feet away and missed me. He's like, I don't know how he missed me. I looked right at him. He looked right at me. My gun went click. His went, brah. And he's like, I looked down. He looked down. I fixed the jam and I put one in his head. So he put it in his head, and then he picked up the PKM and he whacked the next 4 guys that were coming up the stairs, with the other guy's weapon, and it was like,
Again, read it. Longest day in Samara.
read it.
Samara's longest
Longest day in
day, whatever.
Samara.
Longest morning. Yeah.
Longest morning, yeah, American Spectator. Look it up. But yeah, Josh and I were good buddies. We he was one of the other guys that took a lot of cash home in poker. Well, had was winning it. But maybe we had a game going. We won't talk about that. Little racket going. But no, he was the dude was a technical freaking expert with sniper stuff, and just they smoked so many people that were trying to blow us up, that it's like, God, every time I read about like Chris Kyle and what that like his sniper team did, I'm thinking like, dude, that's what fucking Morley's team did for fucking 10 months.
When small kill teams were still like good to go.
Yeah, and then
It
that
changed
mission
after
mission Petraeus no longer allowed small kill teams. After
Amen.
that one. So
But look,
it was
we
like-
still got Bill here. We still got David here. We
Yeah.
still got Sergeant G, Beckwith. Buddy, you're still here?
You're muted. You're muted,
muted,
or
man.
did you get a new car with a sunroof? No, you're
Still
still
muted.
muted.
Sergeant
Damn it.
G, Sergeant or David. Like somebody take the mic.
Well, no, yeah, David hasn't been on in a while.
What up?
Yeah.
We're still
It's
here.
good
He was
that
eating
it-
crayons or crayon. How are you
I'm
supposed
just,
to
I'm
say?
just, I'm just
Crayons, or how do you say it, Nick? You pronounce it really well. Crayons,
Well, it's crayons.
crayons. How do you say
I'm-
it?
You speak 12 languages. It's crayons, Dave.
Crayon,
Like,
crayons.
Say it in German. Who gives a shit?
David, how do they say it?
Crayons.
Crayons,
Crayons. Thank you.
crayons, crayons. Maybe for you East Coast fuckers, but
Floor's yours.
Hey,
brother.
hey, Dave. Yeah, Dave, floor is yours. It's great therapy. I told you it was, man. We come on here, fucking love it, bro. So,
nothing. I didn't have a lot to say because I mean, you guys are so connected. I was just trying to absorb all the different stories.
We're all connected, brother. All of us. All right, David has nothing to say.
You know,
Bill,
I
come
love-
on,
I love
Sergeant Major. Take
It
this
must-
fucking
it-
shit show to dumpster fire under control, Sergeant Major.
You know,
Let's go.
It's like,
I-
it's like
I love what
Dave-
you talked
Dave
about
just-
earlier when you talk about some of the stories and people said, that didn't happen. For the longtime viewers,
Hashtag
we had
Ryan.
Ryan Hendrickson on a few shows. Well, man, I don't know how many shows now, but we had Ryan Hendrickson on one of our earlier shows. Wrote the book Tip of the Spear. Go on buy it. And in the book, he talks about a firefight in Baghlan, Afghanistan. That was a doozy. He talked about it on Jocko's podcast, and Ryan hit me up one day. And he's like, "Hey, man, Jocko read my part of the book on his podcast about the Baghlan firefight and talked about it in your guys' show." He's like, "I've already had 10 people hit me up and say there's no way that shit happened, and I'm lying." I'm like, "Hey, man, the best thing I could tell you to tell him is fuck him."
Fuck them.
It's like, fuck it, man. You know who's telling you no way that shit happened? The dude that never left the fucking fob.
Dude that wasn't there is telling you
Yeah.
it didn't happen.
The dude that never left the fob and was never there. Man, he's mad that his kids have to play Call of Duty and pretend to be you and not him. You know what I'm saying? So fuck him.
They would never drop a bomb that close to somebody. No, no. mm-mm.
Shout out to
And-
Ryan, though. Ryan's a fucking phenomenal dude, man. Shout out to him, Bill.
Ryan, I'm pretty sure is part cyborg.
Well,
I
he
used,
is.
I
No,
used to
G.
say that.
And isn't he back over there right now? Like,
Yeah.
not to take away from your story, but he's like a contractor and
Yeah, he's back doing contracting stuff. The last dude I called cyborg is, the legend of Fifth Group, Benavidez. I think Ryan Henderson's another one of those dudes who's got to be part cyborg, man. I mean, the guy's been blown up more times than I can say. I was there when a 500-pound drum got dropped 15 to 17 meters away from him. Dude just got up and ran off. And like I said it before, that's probably my best deployment moment ever is when we all got back and we're all, doing the cigarette shake, talking about what just happened. And Ryan said, "Hey, man, that 200-pounder was close." Like, "No, bro, that was 500. "Oh, that makes sense. What do you mean?" "Well, I saw the flash. I went numb and then I woke up and I just started running, man."
I just started running.
Good job, buddy. oh shit. But
And again, shout out to Ryan, Bill. But before you tip of the spear for everybody that's watching right now and for everybody that's listening right now, like phenomenal book, phenomenal. You gotta go buy it. Shit really happened. Go ahead, Bill.
I was there. That shit happened. You even go back to our VTT episode on YouTube, watch it. Ryan came in. He said some pretty deep stuff on that stuff too about
Yep.
powering through that dark space that we all get in. And again, my best advice is to get out of what I used to do and use this day as an excuse to just sit around and want to feel sorry for ourselves. And survivor's guilt's real. We all got it, man. I mean,
It's okay to have, though. It's okay. It's okay to have.
As much as Nick loves to talk shit about fisters, a very close friend of mine also went down. He's probably one of the most famous fisters, Jared Monty, and got the Medal of Honor from his death in 06. But it's another one of those things too. All of us that were friends with Jared said the same shit. Man, what if I would have been there with him? It doesn't matter. You just can't think about it. I mean, what happened. Combat's just one of those things where fuck, we've all walked away from shit we definitely shouldn't have walked away from either. And
Yep, for sure.
I mean, it's just fuck, man. Like Boglin. A lot of people shouldn't have walked out of Boglin. A lot of people shouldn't have walked out of Kajaki. The Kandahar deployment I told you guys about, I posted a picture of all the people we lost on that deployment. Fuck, man, I remember.
You know what, Bill? Yet we're still here, and we
Yeah.
can talk about their legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
it
the best
is
way
what
to
it
do it.
is.
Just like Buddy said, we're all better people for have been around them. It's better to just be glad that those dudes ever existed and crossed our paths.
And again, I brought this up like before Buddy even got on the show because I take a little bit of Buddy's medicine right there when it comes to that. Is like us vets, like we want to make this day so like focused on us and like we're gonna feel sad about ourselves and stuff. No, these guys would be partying. These guys would be drinking beer right now. These guys would be having burgers, eating steaks. I brought this up earlier, and it's just like it's okay. Like let's celebrate them instead of we're mourning them. Do our celebration, you know?
Yeah,
I would like-
And it's a mindset.
Go ahead,
It's a
Dave.
mindset thing. And again, I don't want to tell anybody that if you're feeling sorry today, like it's okay. You know, like I used to get triggered by these days, like where I'm like losing my shit because I'm like, why the fuck, you know? But no, like let's celebrate the guys. They'll be doing the same thing, and everything's good to go. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
You know what helped me out of
Oh,
that?
Dave
I'm
was
gonna
gonna
do a
go.
little-
Dave was
I'm
gonna.
do a
Dave was
little-
gonna say something.
I'm gonna do a shameless.
Go
plug.
ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
I
Yeah.
would like to think that just me speaking on any of my dudes, they'd be pissed as fuck if I was moping around doing shit. Because like you said, my dudes would be out at the lake on a boat or doing something with a ton of
Fucking
alcohol.
getting it in, bro. It's a
Yeah.
4-day weekend.
They'd be enjoying it. They'd be pissed if they knew I was moping around and shit.
You know, and to do a shameless plug, you know what helped me get out of that mindset was, I'm involved with Gold Star Teen Adventures. So I interact with a lot of Gold Star families and plus the families of friends we lost, and talking to them is all of them said, hey, none of my fathers or mothers would have ever wanted everybody sitting around getting sad. They'd much rather everybody just, you know what, enjoy the 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no, you like I said, the first time we did this last year, we were more centered around the Gold Star mothers, and that's another thing. So it's not a shameless plug. Dave's recruiting plug is a little shameless, but
Which
you're-
one?
Yeah, don't you
I
already
didn't
forgot about
recruit
it.
on this
You
show
already-
today.
You already yes, you did. So, anyways, you did. We'll rewind it and I'll show it to you. You want to bet a case.
Please
you wanna
show
bet
it
a-
to me.
You want to bet a bottle of bourbon on it?
10th Mountain
Yeah.
whiskey. We can bet a bottle of
Okay.
these.
I
I
guarantee.
promise you, you'll get a
I
bottle next month.
guarantee you through a recruiting plug
Send
out
it
there.
to me. Send
Yeah.
it to me.
But
Y'all gotta show the love, man. Y'all hogging all the love. You ain't sharing it with no jarheads, man. We don't know
Yeah,
how good
well-
this 10th Mountain is.
you got to get over 45 views before that. So
Sergeant G, are you in
Oh,
crayons
shit.
over there?
45 views, buddy. I'm heard around the world. What are you talking about?
You hit 44 last time. No. Hey, honestly, check out the Stone Vet USMC. He's freaking awesome. That's a
Hell
plug.
yeah.
It's not a shameless
Hell
one
yeah.
either. No, like the Gold Star people are, again, what a lot of civilians don't understand is when a service member gets killed, right, their family is considered a Gold Star family, right? And that is one of the things that people tend to forget about, is that there's daughters and sons being raised with a father or mother that's not there anymore. And, you know, we want to think about, you know, honoring the service member, but I mean, there's family members that are extremely impacted by this. And so that organization that Bill is linked up with, that Gold Star Century team, is phenomenal. So if you're looking to give anybody any kind of money, all right, Gold Star Century team is a phenomenal organization to donate to.
Gold Star Teen Adventures.
Gold Star Teen Adventures. Sorry, excuse me. As you were, Gold Star Teen Adventures.
It behoove you to listen, Nick. God damn it.
Remember, when you're in charge of the formation, you weren't wrong. So you got to put them back to where they were right. So as you were, Gold Star Teen Adventures. So please look them up and do what you can. And I got a message from our fake Asian in the back. We got to start wrapping this up. So we'll end it with one of the things like Dave said, you know, about, you know, eating steaks, eating burgers, and talk to your family about it. If you're a veteran out there that's dealing with some hard stuff and you got daughters, you got sons, all right, talk to them. I love the conversation I have when I remember my oldest was like, Dad, why do we always get steaks? You know, on one of our, well, besides that, but on one of our
like fucking meat.
on one of my anniversary days that I celebrate, right, that you know, I used to mourn and get all crybaby and drink a bunch of booze, right? It's, you know, it's March 7th. So March 7th, I always buy steaks. I buy the best steaks that I can find, right? And I just enjoy it. All right. And so when my daughter asked me, she's like, hey, how come you always get these steaks in like on this date? And I was like, this is why. Right. So again, it can be a happy Memorial Day. It can. All right. Go live your life, hang out with your family. So I'll give the last words to all y'all. What do y'all got?
It's like you said, it's like Nick said, man, it's Memorial Day. Remember your battle, that sacrifice it all. He'd want you to be sitting there. He'd be like, share the bottle, motherfucker. Pass the joint this way, dude. You can't puff it. Puff, pass, motherfuckers, right? That's what it's about. Reminiscing, cook that extra steak, have that steak sitting there for them because you know they'd want to enjoy a nice steak like you about to eat a nice burger. Just remember, man, they gave the ultimate sacrifice so we could sit here and do this. They'd be pissed if we walking around moping that they ain't with us. They'd be pissed because they're like, this is why I did this, so you can go and enjoy the day, man. Remember, guys, we got a huge community. We got a great community. Don't be afraid to reach out and say, I need help, because we all do. We all need help. Don't be afraid to pick up that phone and say, hey, dude, I need to talk. I got you, dude. Let's go. Let's talk for a little bit. Let's talk for a minute.
It's okay.
Right.
And I know I'm the new guy around here, but don't be afraid to fucking hit me up. I got plenty of ways you can find me.
He's got a bucket
well,
of
I mean,
crayons or crayons. I don't think we
They're
figured
like 290 pounds of muscle.
I don't think we figured that out yet. But he eats those as well. So just feed him crayons and we'll be good to go.
Easy to keep me happy.
Buddy, what do you got?
You even hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. For once, Nick.
We've agreed three times, buddy. This is the third time.
This show's about to go on for 2 more hours because you told Nick he was right. And
yeah, well, like everybody else said, you know, these dudes didn't die like they weren't mopey fucking people. So don't be mopey when you're celebrating them. And the other thing is, you know, again, like Nick said, there are plenty of Gold Star families out there. If you want to remember your boy, call his mom. Tell his mom how great of a fucking guy she raised, or a great of a fucking daughter she raised, and then tell her how they impacted you. And then, you know, let her know, you don't have to go through the gory details of how they died, but you can definitely tell them that without the sacrifice that she made, or he, or the father, or the kids, or whatever, without the sacrifice they made, you wouldn't be the person you are, and you wouldn't be standing here. And you know, it doesn't bring them back, but at least they know that there's a reason for it. There's something good that did happen from them not being here anymore.
Fucking legacy. Damn right.
And they do have a legacy, and it lets them know that, you know, they're not fucking forgotten. That, you know, every fucking day I think about Stanley. I think about Dan Woodcock. I think about Travis Patrick Quinn. I think about like all those fucking dudes. And, you know, and it's not like I think about it and I'm like, man, you know, that's shitty. I think about, fuck, I'm really glad I fucking knew that guy. I really wish that his family knew how much he meant to everybody, or how much they impacted everybody's life. So, you know, it's a perfect opportunity to give them a call and find out how they're doing, and then find out if there's anything that they need, and find out if you know, let them know that their fucking family member was special. That's all I got.
No, that was perfect, buddy.
And Bill,
Perfect.
just a caveat of what Buddy just said. I think you should close it out. It's Memorial Day, but close it out with Gold Star, because that is like a fucking phenomenal organization, extremely important.
Yeah, close it out. Hey, fake agent in the back. Fake agent in the back. When Bill's done, cut it off.
Close it out with that, Bill, because more people need to hear this shit right here.
Yeah, so if you guys follow me on Facebook or Instagram, follow Gold Star Century Team. I formed a team that teamed up with Gold Star Teen Adventures. Yes, Nick, I saw you perk up. You're half right with Gold Star Century Team. But Gold Star, we paired up with a organization called Gold Star Teen Adventures, created by Kent Soltheim. What they do is they take the kids of Gold Star soldiers, started out in the soft world, but they've started to move into regular Army and first responders too. But they take these Gold Star kids and they just follow them from almost 13 all the way up through sometimes.
No, I hate to interrupt you, but tell the civilians that are watching what Gold Star is.
All right, so Gold Star family members are the family members of those that have fallen in combat. So what they do is they try to find the kids of these soldiers, and they work with them from teenage through adulthood. Basically, they take them on hiking trips, hunting trips, you know, how to skin a deer. They've done little leadership academies, deep sea fishing and scuba diving. Basically, it's to help be the parents and uncles of these kids who lost their mothers and fathers, so they still feel that military camaraderie and that familyhood, and it lets them know that their parents aren't forgotten, and we're not going to leave them behind either. And like I've said it before, we all do the, you know, RIP Del Valhalla stuff on Facebook, but everyone forgets that there's kids and wives left behind. So this organization lets these kids and wives know that they're not left behind, and we still got them. So please go to Gold Star Teen Adventures or go to Gold Star Century Team, donate money. It all goes to help pay for these trips. $0 that you donate to the Gold Star Century Team goes to me or the other guys running it. It's 100% goes to these kids and helps pay for these trips. So please go out. Don't forget about the family members left behind. Gold Star Teen Adventures.
Boom!
Where do we turn to veteran trash talk? Where do we turn to veteran trash talk? Where do we turn to veteran trash talk? Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. One day I'm okay, next day darkness. One day I'm okay, next day darkness. One day I'm okay, next day darkness. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. Past is the past, so be forgiven. The past is is the past, so be forgiven. The past is the past, so be forgiven bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises bravely every morning. Let's fight, don't quit, call that in order. Let's fight, don't quit, call that in order. Let's fight, don't quit, call that in order. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. Raise a glass for those we're missing. Raise a glass for those we're missing. Raise a glass for those we're missing. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. That's what we do in Veteran Trash Talk. That's what we do in Veteran Trash Talk. That's what we do in Veteran Trash Talk. Bravely every